This is a less than Sudra type animal. And then there are the Vaishyas, of course. The Vaishyas, primarily in Krishna consciousness, in Krishna's village, they're cow protectors of these Vaishyas. Lord Krishna's own father had 800,000 cows, Nanda Maharaj. And many, many more in the spiritual world, unlimited. So these Vaishyas, and they do banking as well, trade as well. Also, for example, a Vaishya must know all the different types of gems and their values. That's an important part of being a Vaishya. They have to know the value of things. So gemology is actually, it's in the Vedic scriptures. There's science of gemology in the Vedas for these Vaishyas to understand that. But in this day and age, the Vaishyas, instead of protecting the cows, so-called Vaishyas are killing the cows. Instead of being agricultural, self-sufficient village life community, they have monoculture. I used to sell things in outback Australia, and I'd come across these wheat farms that'd be like 10,000, 20,000 acres, just wheat as far as I can see, just monoculture. And these people thought they were Vaishyas, or they thought they somehow or other they were responsible for achieving this greatness of growing so much wheat, and they would boast to me sometimes, look at what I've done, you know, this is amazing, this is going to be the bumper crop, my best year ever. And they would brag and boast like that, as if they are actually doing something good as Vaishyas. But then the rains would come the next week, and the whole crop would be destroyed. So all of a sudden, one week they're boasting about how they're the supreme, and look what they've done, look at what I'm achieving. But the very next week, they're in their trucks, all driving to Government House, Parliament House, to blockade the roads and blockade Parliament, and blame the government for their failed wheat crops. This is not Vaishya. This is just mode of passion, crazy people trying to become rich. And then the Sudras, who are meant to be helping the other people, they're meant to be helping the Brahmanas, helping the Vaishyas, helping the Kshatriyas. Sudras have lots of roles they play in a proper society. The Sudras not just helping, working, labouring on the farms and so forth, but the Sudras are great singers and dancers, clowns, performers, all sorts of things the Sudras do. But in this day and age, those same people become Hollywood stars and become so filthy rich. Sudras aren't meant to have money because they just behave terribly. And as we can see, people in this day and age, they get a lot of money and they just want more and more and more and more and more, bigger and bigger house, and bigger, have an island or a chain of islands, or as much money as they can, and a little jet, and then a bigger jet, and then a jumbo jet. Just everything bigger and bigger and better and more expensive, but worthless, ultimately worthless activities and worthless possessions. But this is what happens. The Sudra is actually meant to be frugal, and meant to be honest, and not meant to touch other people's money. But these days, these Hollywood stars and people just, they can't help themselves because they are Sudras, and given this amount of wealth, they just become insane, mad people, desperate for more and more. So these are some of the Varna ashram, and it's not just for men, of course, it's for women as well. And sometimes women are categorized as just one caste, but that's not actually true, because there are women in the Kshatriyas, there are women wives of the Brahmanas, there are women in the Vaishya community and in the Sudra community as well. So in this day and age, there's not much difference anymore between men and women anyway. As Ray Davies and the Kinks used to sing, girls will be boys and boys will be girls. It's a mixed up, muddled up, shook up world. And one of their songs from Lola, the Kinks. So it's a mixed up world. But there is a place for everyone, and a place for men and a place for women. But women also, just as men should have qualities that are useful in society, they should be chivalrous, they should be polite, they should be courteous, they should lead nicely. Then a woman can have faith in such a man. And a woman, on the other hand, can be faithful to that man and chaste and humble and shy to that man. But if the men aren't going to live up to expectations then of course men can't expect the women to live up to expectations either. And then there is so much illicit sex, so much contraception, so much abortion, so much cow killing. How can we expect good results in this world with such activities? And instead of, then the women just become like men. And they can easily become distracted as well. Like, instead of understanding higher spiritual principles, it's very easy to be attached to one's own body. I was at a party once, and one woman complimented another woman on her hair, and that other woman was so thought it was such a wonderful thing that she broke down crying in joy that her hair had been complimented. I mean, it's less than Sudra. It's really, really dumb. So for all of us in this world, no matter what Varna or ashram we're in, we have duties to perform. But we should also know that whatever body we have is temporary, whether it be man or woman. I expect to be a woman in my next life. God knows what, if I'm lucky. I may be something in a lower species, may get lucky and go somewhere better, but somewhere, down to be somewhere. And that's for everyone. And for all of us, an analogy I was reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam recently is that for human life, it's comparable to being a deer in a flower garden. A deer in a flower garden is just sees beautiful nature around them, eating the soft grass, just chewing the grass, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the nice breeze, enjoying one's fawn or one's buck and one's baby deer, what are they called? Little guys. Kids, no, that's goats. Fawn. But actually, what the deer doesn't realise is that lurking in that forest is a tiger. And lurking behind another tree is a hunter with a bow and an arrow or a gun. But the deer is just chewing away, thinking, what a lovely thing this is, this soft grass. And this is us in the material world, this is everyone thinking, oh, I'm getting along okay, I'm having my sandwich, I'm drinking my Pepsi, I'm sitting on the deck, I'm catching the breeze, it's all pretty good. Not even realising that death will come at any moment, today or tomorrow, sometime in the future. So we're just like this, like deer. So this Varna ashram is very important to establish for the sake of human society, otherwise it does become like animal society. I was looking out the window once at Gopal's restaurant in Auckland. Used to manage that restaurant for some time. And it was 9 o'clock at night, we pretty much finished up, and I looked across the road and there was a burger bar, a lot of people on the street, Friday night in Auckland. There was a burger bar across the road and there were people standing outside eating, munching away on their burgers, and I noticed this brown dog amongst them as well. And the people were, the dog, some of them were shaking hands with the dog, some were patting the dog was wagging his tail talking with one group and another group, and someone gave the dog some of the burger to eat, and the dog was eating the burger with the people eating the burger, and then the dog was just hanging around and having a good time. People were having a good time with the dog, and then the people went off on their direction to do whatever they do, and the dog no doubt headed up some alley as well, looking for a bitch for the night, like most of the people were doing as well. And I was thinking, gosh, the dog is just like people. But then I sort of had a change of consciousness, and I realised, actually, no, it's the people that are just like the dog. The dog isn't like the people are like the dog. So this is, unfortunately, the way it is in this world. I wish it wasn't, but it is. So we try and attract people to spiritual life through Varna and ashram. Everyone has their duty to perform, whether it be material or spiritual, but if it can be dovetailed with Krishna, as Krishna is describing here, that's the best form of duty, if you can dovetail that duty. Whatever you're good at, do it for yourself, but do it for Krishna as well, as much as possible.